Welcome back, YC. Today is Holy Thursday, the day called the Last Supper. And I think about that Last Supper. Jesus knew that this was his final day with his disciples. And so what did he want them to learn? And I wonder, what would you want your family to learn if tonight was your last meal with them? What would you tell them? What would you want them to take away? It would probably be the most important night of, their lives, the most important night of yours, where you would try to let them know the most important things about life. And Jesus did just that. He gave us an example. It says that he washed the disciples' feet and said, I have given you guys an example here, an example of servanthood. The master had become the servant. And what would that be like in your own life, that you would begin to serve others at a higher level? And today is also called in the church calendar Maundy Thursday. And Maundy is where we get the term commandment or mandate. And Jesus on that night says, I give you a new commandment to love one another as I have loved you. And I think about that a lot. I think about, why would that have to be a new commandment? Why was love going to be something that was new that they would have to do? And what we could see from what was going on at that time, and maybe even currently, was people were doing for God for themselves. They were doing their tithing, which Jesus said they should do. But they were also missing mercy and justice, which is an act of love. And so how are you loving? Are you loving one another as you're doing for God? Or are you just doing for God with the absence of love? And I don't think that we can. I don't think that we should. I think that was Jesus's whole point, was everything that we do must come from a wellspring of love that is in us, that pours out because of the love that Jesus gave for us. He knew he was being betrayed, and he acknowledged that, and Judas went off and betrayed him. And we know that later on that night he was arrested, and that he would be abandoned that night during that time. And Jesus cried out to God that this cup, if it was God's will, be taken from him, because he knew how hard that this was. Yet he still told us to love one another, and that he would be with us always. This is where he tells the disciples to go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. And that he promises us that after we teach everyone to obey everything he commanded, that he would be with us always. Always. That means today. That means tomorrow. That means for the rest of our lives. That as we follow him, he promises us that although we can't see him, he is there with us every day, in every situation, no matter what. And the example that he gave us on that Last Supper was that we should serve one another, that we would become like our teacher, and we would become servants. So where are you serving? Where is your love just outpouring into the people around you? Where are we honoring God with that new commandment that he gave us, that we follow all of the others? And he said that if we love God with all our heart, all our soul, and all our minds, and we love one another and love our neighbors, then all of those commandments are fulfilled, because we can't do anything in the absence of love. And Jesus showed us that. We'll see you tomorrow as we talk about Good Friday, but go out and be an extravagant lover today. God bless you.